Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good as always. I'm back. Took a few days off to rest and recover after that Super Bowl. But we are full up in this off season. Lots of rookies, lots of free agent talk coming. And what are we doing today? Cup, is it half full or half empty, man, on Cooper Kupp? What's left in the tank? The team has granted him permission to seek a trade, likely going to get released because I don't know how many people want to take on those dollar bills that he does have, but how much is definitely left in the tank? I still believe there is something left for a Cooper Kupp to help another franchise. Is he going to be, the wide receiver one on a club moving forward? Probably not. A great secondary piece for somebody's team, but there's a lot of things to like, a lot of things to dislike on a Cooper Kupp as we get into free agency, potentially finding his way onto another club. But let's talk what he has done so far this year in his NFL career, or in his NFL career, I should say, man. 31 years of age, 8 years experience. So he's only been in the NFL for 8 years, and he has done a heaping of statistical achievement, especially for our fantasy football teams. You gotta love what a Cooper Kupp has done over the last 6 years. I mean, we'll start there. We could go all the way back 8 years, but it's irrelevant at this point. We're just really seeing the last 6 what he has done. 2019 definitely was a star, man. 223.5 points. He was an absolute dynamo. Started picking up steam following year in 2020. Kind of faded a little bit as well. Dealt with some injuries also, but still played with full 15 games. Definitely was not his best. Where he did hit it huge was in that 2021 season where he hit the Triple Crown. 94.1% on the boom rate. This guy was killing it in 2021. 367 points, finished as the wide receiver one, man. But he did have a heaping of target share. 191 targets, just peppered a Cooper Kupp that season. 145 in receptions, almost 2,000 yards, 16 receiving TDs. And like I said, a massive 94% on that boom rate. Cooper Kupp was Mr. Automatic for us. Definitely was a league winner that season for us. The problem that does happen now after you bombard a player, whether it be a running back or wide receiver, with that much volume, you see the drop off in the following seasons. Typically, they recover after the following year, but I mean, Cooper Kupp has seen a trajectory that is falling in the wrong direction. Hence why the Rams are saying, yeah, I don't think we can pay this anymore, due in part to the injuries and lack of top end productivity. 2022 dealt with injuries, 9 games, only got you 163.9 points. 2023, he was the wide receiver 41, basically missed so much time. His worst season statistically on record, even though he did, technically play in 12 contests, it did not hit the bill whatsoever. 134.9 points. He was, 700 yards, 59 receptions. Definitely not Cooper Kupp-esque, what we are definitely, used to in his game. 50% on that boom rate, even though in 2022 he still had a very good boom rate of 88%, even though he was under 1,000 yards. Still got you some PPR upside in that 75 receptions. And then this following season here in 2024, 12 games, dealt with some injuries once again, still was okay. 100 targets, 67 receptions for 710 and 6 TDs. The issue at hand, 58% on that boom rate. The issue at hand is the takeover of a Puka Nacua. This is why that they are knowing that he is expendable. Cooper Kupp is now, because they are very much reliant and comfortable with somebody like a Puka Nacua taking over the reins for a Cooper Kupp as the wide receiver one on this offense. And I mean, I can't argue whatsoever because Puka is doing the business, but you see how the transition is fading for a Cooper Kupp statistically. A lot of the injuries are starting to pile up over these last 3 years. Can he still get back on track? Maybe play another good quality 3 seasons in the NFL to be that 33, 34-year-old wide receiver? It is possible, but I mean, the writing is definitely on the wall for injuries taking its toll on a Cooper Kupp who has been absolutely phenomenal. When we're talking free agent market, it's not necessarily vast. I mean, we see a lot of aging product out here as well. Stephon Diggs, tore his ACL. He is on the top of the list as well. His season likely going to be moot in 2025 also because it was, a mid-season tear. So, I mean, week 7, I believe, week 8, he tore that ACL. So it's going to be tough for him to come back and play a full, dominating role for any team. But he's still name cachet based on, dollar figure value. Stephon Diggs would be on the top outside of a T. Higgins. who is who is one of the best wide receiver free agents on the wide receiver market, I should say, at this point. $21 million value at this point, wide receiver 17 for T. Higgins with those Cincinnati Bengals. Could he return to the Bengals? Abso-freaking-lutely, but his name is going to be for youthful purposes, for the player that's likely going to cash in heavily on the open market. T. Higgins is definitely that guy. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper kind of fill in, that role where they are, aging products at this point, still going to covet some decent money because they showcase that they can still play ball. It just, the situations where they were, where Keenan Allen in Chicago was, learning offense with a Caleb Williams, where Amari Cooper was, the decoy role with those Buffalo Bills. Chris Godwin, Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood, Marquise Brown, and then you got Cooper Kupp slotted in here as well. The only reason I got Kupp on the bottom is because you see where he is requesting a trade. He isn't necessarily technically a free agent at this point, but I do not foresee anybody taking a trade deal with $29 million cap hit, where he did finish as a wide receiver 40 at this point. All the other wide receivers on the free agent market, on the open market right now, don't necessarily, come into play with this, level of caliber wide receivers, but you're going to see that there are going to be others that are going to get paid. But this is basically your listing of top-end wide receiver talent that is on the open market, where the draft isn't necessarily top-end heavy with these wide receivers, but Cooper Kupp would definitely jump his way into that category with Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, where T. Higgins is likely the top wide receiver, even though the value chart does say T is going to be about $21 million right now. Cooper Kupp landing spots, what are we talking? Who needs a wide receiver? There's a lot of teams that do need some wide receiver help at this point. First one for me is those Washington Commanders, the Commies. Literally, man, they got two wide receivers on the roster right now when it comes to contract locked up. Scary Terry McLaurin and a Luke McCaffrey. That's it. They got $79.51 million on the cap, open space to go spend freely to make this team that much better. Playoff team, over exceeded with a Cliff Kingsbury and a Jaden Daniels. They got money to spend, and they're going to have to utilize their dollars to bring in some free agents right now to help out the cause on the offensive side. Even though they did a good job with patch-made solutions, you got to believe they're going to add somebody for Scary Terry and help him, make a better place and help the coverage ease off of his side. Houston Texans, they still got Nico, Tank Dell dealing with that injury, likely done for 2025 as well. Xavier Hutchinson and John Mechie, who I still like overall. I'm a big Mechie fan, but they're going to need some help as well. They went with the Stephon Diggs situation. He's likely done in Houston as well. Don't foresee him coming back. Will they break the bank on another wide receiver? Probably not, the way things didn't go very well this past year, but Cooper Kupp would aid in a very good safety blanket for a CJ Stroud, get him back on track, and Nico take the top off of defenses now that a Tank Dell likely gone for the season. Can they go with a Hutchinson Mechie? Sure they can. Will they add another wide receiver in the draft? Highly likely. But if they want to go veteran, I do think that the Houston Texans are there and require a veteran leader like a Cooper Kupp to help round out the rest of this wide receiver room. The LA Chargers bolt up, man. $65 million of free cap money. They looked good with a Lad McConkey. He's a good lad. Quentin Johnson, QJ, Darius Davis, Brendan Rice. That's all you got on this team right now when it comes to wide receivers, so you definitely require an upgrade. I was never necessarily a QJ supporter, not a hater, but not a supporter. He is a body catcher. You guys see exactly what I'm talking about. The sample size is there already for QJ, that we can already make the judgment that he's likely not going to be something special in the NFL. But Lad McConkey with a Cooper Kupp, yes, it is kind of the similar role, so they may look in other directions as well. But I mean, with the money that they do have, they could go, double slot wide receivers, the way that they operate. I mean, we'll see, but they are definitely on the board based on the need at wide receiver and the cap dollars they do have to spend. Those Kansas City Chiefs, they would be on the board here as well. I mean, they lost the Super Bowl in supreme fashion. I'm still smiling. Well done, Eagles. Absolutely loved it. But $5.38 million, and the only receivers they got is Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Sky Moore, and then the other fellow at the bottom. it's a situation where, D-Hop will be gone, Hollywood will be gone. Will they go to the open market, find some other wide receivers? Are they going to go to the NFL draft? Mecole Hardman's there too, but I believe he's a free agent as well. So it's a situation where how are they going to rebuild? With a Travis Kelce aging, potentially going to retire, Noah Gray potentially taking over as well. They could utilize somebody like a Cooper Kupp in that Travis Kelce role if Travis does depart as well, which would increase the cap dollars for these Kansas City Chiefs also on the open market. And we're talking, why would Cooper Kupp want to go to certain teams? It is the ability with his career aging that he could, potentially win a Super Bowl, and that would be the goal for a Cooper Kupp. Pittsburgh Steelers, George Pickens, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson as well. Those are the only wide receivers. This past game was absolutely piss poor. You know that a George Pickens was extremely frustrated with the role in the passing game, with how the passing game did not work out. And they do have money, man. $55 million on the cap hit, but who is going to be the quarterback is the question. And I don't know if Cooper Kupp wants to go to a situation where the passing game isn't necessarily established, like somewhere like a Commies, like a Texans, Chargers, Chiefs. I think that this one is just on the board if he wants to get paid rather than going for that Super Bowl. And then the Baltimore Ravens, almost $9 million. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Tez Walker. That's all they got, man. So they're going to be adding wide receiver talent. But do they require a Cooper Kupp the way they play football? They're extremely run-heavy as it is. But Baltimore Ravens definitely on tap if they want a wide receiver that can help assist a Lamar Jackson in short plays and yak ability. But for me, I'm talking the Washington Commanders. I think it is the best landing spot for him, not only because he could get paid. This is a team on the rise, man. They got a great established passing game. Now that they got a Jaden Daniels, he had a phenomenal rookie season, passing stat-wise, 15th in the league in passing attempts, 16th in yards passing, average was in the middle range as well, 14th, and a nice 25 touchdowns, ranking 10th in the NFL with a Jaden Daniels. Absolutely phenomenal season they did have. Terry McLaurin picked up, his best season on record with a Jaden Daniels, and I was saying that, man, we saw what he did in college with somebody like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. You need more weapons here in Washington. This only makes the most sense. Wait for the Rams to drop him, and you could pick him up on a free agent deal. When you're talking about secondary wide receiver play, the drop rate was there as well. 4.3% on the drop rate. 20 drops is a lot of drops from this wide receiver / tight end room that did not promote top end productivity that we're hoping for. Completed air yards still 5.4, very decent at this point, and explosive plays at 45. With somebody like Jaden Daniels, you could see this go into the 50s and 60s because he requires more offensive help as well. When you're talking about the secondary wide receivers to tight ends, barring what Terry McLaurin did, I'm removing him because he does account for 53.3% of the receiving upside on this team. The rest of the team, 425.6 fantasy points, where Terry by himself got you 226. So you can see they desperately require somebody else to help the cause on a consistent basis. Yes, they did a decent job with patch-made solutions, but it is not good enough. 307 targets on the open, docket for a Cooper Kupp. He could definitely take even 95 to 115 of those targets, and this offense would move absolutely better in the right direction with a Cooper Kupp and a scary Terry McLaurin. I absolutely love the potential upside for a Cooper Kupp to these Washington Commanders. We're talking about their depth, man. Scary Terry, Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler still on this roster. You slot in somebody like a Cooper Kupp, and you're going to do wonders for this offense because of how he is and could be utilized as that safety blanket. Still has high upside in, route running ability, his nose for the end zone, the guy to be the safety blanket, chain moving wide receiver, yak ability. Cooper Kupp definitely would slot in beautifully. With all they have on this roster right now is Luke McCaffrey, Ben Sinnett, who I do like and could potentially, replace a Zach Ertz as he is a free agent. Diami Brown, free agent. Noah Brown, Zacchaeus, all free agents, where Zach Ertz and John Bates also on the free agent market. So you see they're going to have to revamp this offense for a Cliff Kingsbury, for a Jaden Daniels to move in the right direction. I think Cooper Kupp would fit in like a glove. This would be my best landing spot for Cooper Kupp at this point, and I think that there is options with those other teams that I did mention. Could he go for the dollars, or is he going to play out for, potentially another Super Bowl ring? I think Cooper Kupp is going to try to do both because there are circumstances with some of these teams. They got heavy dollars to afford to pay the man, and their team is definitely moving in the right direction. Absolutely love the fit for a Washington Commanders. But there you have it. That is the cup half full or half empty? I still think there is something left in the tank for a Cooper Kupp. Just depends on where he goes. The commies make the most amount of sense for me because of what I said. The dollars, the ability to play with a great rookie quarterback now in his second season with Jaden Daniels. The sky is the limit with this team, and they would challenge somebody like those Philadelphia Eagles when they add more pieces to this offense. I do like it for Cooper Kupp and these Washington Commanders. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.